Okay, stop. Stop. Today is not gonna be a hate video against free Minecraft server hosting. It is just not. I do want to talk about free server hosting for a bit though. More specifically, I want to talk about why an absolutely perfect free Minecraft server host does not exist. Like, free server hosting is great, and it's amazing that you can just host a Minecraft server without paying anything. That is fantastic. Now personally, I don't use free hosting because I simply need more power. But then the question arises, why do I need a paid server to get that extra power? Why are there no free servers with 20 gigabytes of RAM and the latest CPU on the market? The amount of comments I receive asking me where you can find such a server host is insane. I get comments on a daily basis of people asking, where can I host a 20 gigabyte server for free? Where can I host a free server on the latest CPU? Or where can I host a full velocity network that can sustain at least 30 concurrent players? Or what about this post on my Discord, where somebody suggested I should start a free server hosting company, and they wanted me to buy VPSs that in total consisted of 1200 CPU cores, 2400 gigabytes of RAM, and 6000 gigabytes of disk space. And this is not the only example. There seems to be a lack of knowledge on how Minecraft server hosts actually work, and how on its turn free server hosts operate, and why such a perfect free server host does not exist. So that is what we're gonna talk about today. And big disclaimer, I'm gonna be oversimplifying a lot today. Alright, let me visualize it for you. And once again, this is oversimplified, like a lot. So here we have a Minecraft server hosting company. This is a company that wants to sell Minecraft servers to those who want them. Now, what do you need as a hosting company? Well, the first thing you need is servers. And I'm not talking about Minecraft servers, I'm talking about the systems that the Minecraft servers actually run on, the dedicated machines. So a hosting company will go to a system seller. System seller is not an official term, I just made it up, but hopefully it will make you understand what it actually is. So as a hosting company, you will go to a system seller. So another company that owns dedicated machines, so systems, inside of a data center. And by paying a monthly fee, you can use those systems to, for example, host Minecraft servers on. Now, I want to clarify that this is not always the case. Some hosting companies also decide to make their own little data center inside of, for example, their office building. That way they don't have to pay a monthly fee to rent the systems. But of course, even doing that will still cost money, because your electricity bill is gonna be crazy high, as well as internet. And of course, you need people to maintain and update those systems. They will eventually also need to be replaced, which is also expensive. So no matter what way a hosting company decides to go, it costs money. Now that's not the only thing they need to pay money for. Of course, a hosting company also needs a website and a domain and staff. Because without a website, nobody can buy your servers. Without a domain, nobody can go to your website. And staff is not a requirement, but most hosting companies do need staff. For example, for customer support or maintaining the systems, or just developers. So that will also cost money. So currently the hosting company is only losing money. But hey, what is that? Wow, it's the customer. What a lovely person. And they want to start hosting their own Minecraft server. So what do? They search online and they find the website from the hosting company. Now you might wonder, why does there need to be a hosting company in between? Can a customer not just go directly to the system seller? And quite frankly, yes. Yes, you can. You can totally do that. The thing is, the system comes with nothing. So all of the software required to actually host a Minecraft server, you will need to install yourself. All of the features that you want, you need to code yourself. You need to account for things like security and, most importantly, DDoS protection yourself, and that can be really expensive. There are a lot of things that come into play behind the scenes. Also, if you would go to a system seller, you would get a whole system. If you just want to host a single Minecraft server, just for a few friends, you don't need 128 gigabytes of RAM, which you would get by renting a system. And of course, the cost of renting a system with 128 gigabytes is a lot higher than paying a hosting company to run a 4 gigabyte server. So skipping the host is something you can totally do. It happens a lot, but it does mean that you will need to do everything yourself. So ignoring the minority that skips the hosting company altogether, the vast majority of people will simply go to a hosting company. And the customer will of course pay money. And the money that the hosting company receives from the customer, they then use to first of all pay for the systems, and second, pay for the website, the domain and the staff. And if you don't have any staff, I can still imagine you want to do the whole server hosting thing full time, so you would have to pay your own salary. Now we've established that this system works, has been around for a long time. Most hosting companies work this way. But now let's talk about free hosting companies. Nothing will change on the system side of things. They still need the systems. Also, nothing will change in terms of the website, the domain or the staff. All things that are still necessary. The only thing that changes here is the income. Customers will now no longer pay the hosting company. I think you can see the problem. The company is now constantly losing money without gaining anything back from the customer. Now this is not a sustainable business. Unless you're a multi-billionaire that can just buy systems and give them away to the Minecraft community for free without needing anything in return, which as far as I know is not happening, this is not a sustainable business and nobody can do this for a long time because it will be such a massive money drain that in no time you will have no savings left and you will have to shut everything down because the cost of the website, domain, staff and the systems are just too much. Okay, interesting and all, but how do free hosts then still exist? Well, the free hosting company will just need to find other ways to cover these costs. But what other means does a free hosting company have to cover these costs that doesn't involve charging the customer? Well, this has not been set in stone. Somebody could come out tomorrow with a new free hosting company that uses a completely new method of monetizing their host that we've never seen before. But the methods we see most often are ads, partners, and paid content. So ads speak for itself. And if you've ever hosted a free Minecraft server, you've most likely done that at a hosting company that runs ads on their website. This is by far the most common practice. But if arranged well, you could also do it with partners or paid content. So what are partners? Well, you could partner with anything. A website, a platform, a service. Doesn't really matter what it is, as long as the partner gives you money for advertising their server or website or whatsoever. It is kinda similar to ads, though you don't really blast your whole website with a ton of ads. Instead, you will have one of two partners that you promote all across your website, and for doing that, the partners will give you money to run your free host. And then the third option, which I've actually not seen before, and for a little bit I thought that Tubbo's host was gonna do this, until I was proven wrong and they went with ads anyway, but paid content. Basically, you offer the server hosting for free, but then you offer additional paid content for the servers, like maybe maps or server setups, stuff like that. Now in practice, I'm not so sure how successful that method would be, especially because most people who go to a free hosting company are not willing to pay anything anyway. So your paid content will most likely see very little sales. It's basically the same as offering paid ranks on a cracked Minecraft server. If people are not even willing to purchase the game legally, they are most likely also not gonna buy a paid rank on your Minecraft server. Now again, these are just 3 example methods. There may be many more possibilities I don't even know about, but ads, that is definitely the one that most hosting companies go for. So, by showing ads, the free hosting company will now earn money! Problem solved! Well, not really. You might notice that I've only added a single money symbol instead of the 2 on the customer side. And that is for the sole reason that ads don't earn a lot. Ad revenue is really, really bad. As somebody whose main source of income is ad revenue, hi, YouTuber here, I can confirm that ads are a very bad source of income. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy with the ad revenue I earn. But if you compare ad revenue to what a customer can pay you, it is a night and day difference. Like, think of it this way. Let's say a YouTube video gets 1,000 views. Then if nobody has ad blocks enabled and nobody has YouTube Premium, 1,000 people will see an ad. Now how much you earn from that differs a lot per what channel you have, what type of content you make, and what type of advertiser is actually advertising. But let's say the video would just have a single ad. So no mid-roll ads, no post-roll ads, just a single pre-roll ad. It is most likely gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1. euro. Most likely the hosting company is not gonna have just one ad, they're gonna fill up their entire page with it, but still, ads don't earn that much. Let's say this 1000 views for 1 euro would also apply to this hosting company. 1000 visits to their website would equal to 1 euro. That is very little money. While if you would charge all customers 1 euro, you would earn 1000 euros. Of course, very bad example, but I hope this makes you realize how little ads earn. So that is why I just put a single money icon over there. But oh wait, we have a problem. There is just a single money coming in, but there is 2 money going out. This would mean a constant loss every single month, making it an unsustainable business that is not gonna be around for long. So how do we make this all sustainable again? We need to start cutting costs. So while before we were paying for one of the best systems on the market to run Minecraft servers, and we were also paying for some very talented staff members that could develop incredible features and maintain the servers so that they were always in their best shape, now we have to start cutting corners everywhere. So instead of the best system for Minecraft server hosting on the market, you're gonna get a 5 or 6 year old system. Instead of 24/7 customer support and a website that's always responsive, you're gonna get the stripped down version of that. Because otherwise the free host would just not be sustainable. So it has to start cutting corners everywhere. And in many cases, even this is not truly enough. So what free hosts will start doing is giving you very little resources. So not a lot of RAM, not a lot of storage, not a lot of CPU threads. All just so that they can allow more customers on the same system, so that they don't have to buy an additional one, increasing the cost for the hosting company. And usually it is so that the more customers a free hosting company gets, the worse your experience is gonna be. Because more customers means eventually you can't add to the same system, so you have to purchase more systems, increasing the cost, but ad revenue is still not a lot, because ads just don't pay a lot. And then most free hosts just land in this cycle, where with every single server that they buy, the experience for the consumer is gonna get a little worse. I mean, take Aeternos as an example, the most popular free hosting company out there. The website is filled up to the top with advertisements. There are so many on there, it is not even funny. And that is not the only thing they do. The owners of Aeternos also own a paid hosting company that they advertise absolutely everywhere across their website. So basically they hope that as soon as you're done with the low performance servers that Aeternos provides, you will buy a paid server from their paid hosting company. Because you're used to Aeternos already now, so why not stick with them, but then with better servers? And Aeternos' servers are not that great. Maybe some of you have had a different experience, just because you logged in at a good time, or somehow you were just very lucky, but most Aeternos servers will start lagging with just a single player online. As soon as you start generating some worlds, the TPS of your server will drop drastically. And that is without even having other players online. With them, it just soon becomes an unplayable mess. And that is partly because of all the stuff I just explained. You're most likely gonna have a better experience at a relatively unknown free server hosting company. Now, of course, there are always people who try to push the limits and see if they can actually make a free host that doesn't suck. Tubbo is the latest example. A very popular YouTuber and streamer who has recently started a free hosting company called Play.Hosting. I made a video about it here on the channel not too long ago. And one of the reasons that Tubbo is mixing it up a bit is because he is not renting servers from system sellers. Instead, all Play.Hosting systems are located inside of his house or office. Don't really know what the building is, but it's located about 20 meters from his desk. Now, he built most of those servers himself too, which means it is most likely gonna be cheaper to run than a hosting company that will be renting servers from a data center. But of course, this also has its downsides, as it's gonna take a lot longer to upskill. Instead of just buying a new system that's gonna be live in a few minutes, you will have to purchase a server, physically install it into your server rack, and it will probably take a few days or weeks before you can add another system. And of course, we don't know what the future is gonna bring. And personally, I am really excited to see where Play.Hosting is gonna go in the future, how it's gonna evolve, how it's gonna develop, how good it will be in, let's say, 1 or 2 years. But as of right now, that absolutely perfect free Minecraft server host that allows you to host a full Minecraft network or gives you a server with 20 gigabytes of RAM on the latest hardware on the market right now simply doesn't exist. And with that being said, that's gonna be it for today. Do make sure to subscribe to my channel, join my Discord. Thank you so much, channel members. And then I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, see you later, bye bye.